my ultimate cheesy chicken parm, okay? This is a red sauce joint staple, starting with the chicken, which we butterflied. We lightly pounded so it's even Steven throughout. Season, little salt, little pepper directly on the chicken. We're gonna run it through the feb, flour, egg, and the canister of breadcrumbs, Italian seasoned breadcrumbs.
I love that.
How long it's been there in the pantry? I don't know, Ma.
Since you were a kid.
As long as it doesn't smell like the pantry, it's still good.
No, it doesn't. That's why they have that nifty little top on there. Add a little bit of your famous Parmigiano Reggiano grated right into the breadcrumbs, please. I got some nice medium heat here, large skillet, olive oil. We're gonna fry these babies till golden brown. Now, let's get the very special application of cheese. We're not just gonna bake this, right? You spend all this time frying this beautiful piece of meat or vegetable, and then you drown it in sauce, in cheese, and bake it.
No.
And then why did I fry it? Right, it's good flavor, it's a wonderful technique to prepare a protein, but at the end of the day, you're just kind of decimating the texture of that exterior fry on there, that crispiness. Sauce here that you can ladle right from there, or just do a nice fresh sauce. Next, some freshly grated, low moisture, whole milk mozzarella.
Okay.
It melts the best, it's got the best chew. And we're gonna take about a half a cup of this directly onto this, starting in the middle, right? Alex, our oil looks perfect right now, ready to accept the cutlet. I am gonna get that oven ready to accept our cheese and sauce. Thank you, Jeffrey. We got it on broil, and the rack is about two levels down, okay? You don't want it too close, you don't want it too far. It's gotta be the Goldilocks zone of broilage, and that takes time and experience.
Do you watch broil? Because I am so afraid to walk away from broil.
Yep, I am not gonna walk too far, because this can take about 5 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever.
This is really a classic Italian-American dish, isn't it?
Wow.
This didn't come from nowhere, Jeff.
I'm happy with the cutlets.
Look at this, first of all. That's what we're looking for. That's all flavor right there. Cheese browns nicely, gives a lot of salt.
It doesn't take a lot of time. People, I think, overcook their chicken cutlet.
Agreed.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm gonna start plating my chicken while those are still going. I got some keeping warm on a wire rack sheet tray at 200
Oh, yeah.
That's how I do
RTG. Look at these beauts.
Gorgeous.
I mean, right? Watch your hand there. I don't want to.
By the way, that's a secret that you can use. French toast, pancakes, bacon, anything you cook, rack, oven, 200 degrees. Here's the moment, people.
I can't wait to see this stick.
I know what's gonna happen.
Oh, boy. It's going to be like a...
Dim the lights. Can we dim the lights?
Are we doing is this like a pizza volcano? It's like a volcano.
Oh, look at this.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm gonna like this.
All right, here we go.
Do it, Jeff.
Are you ready?
Yes, Jeff.
This is it. This is it.
Oh, my
How's this for an angle? We good on that?
Yeah, watermelon
3,
cut it.
2, 1.
Stop it right
Yeah! Perfect!
Stop it right
Oh, making farm, making farm.
my
Chicky
God.
Chicky farm, chicky farm. Here we go. You ready for number 2?
I just want to get it, Jeff.
Do it again, Jeff.
Look at this. I might
I need, forget a tableside Caesar. We need a tableside chicken parm.
Oh, man.
Pass it on down.
Right to the table.
Come on,
right to your
Phils.
family. Preserved.
Preserved
crust-
crunchiness.
That gives it some real restaurant vibes at home. That's
Yes,
the thing.
yes.
You know, that's that restaurant level trick that you just do at home so easy.
Can I
have this for the
you
sauce?
Didn't
Please.
I'm
you
putting in
didn't
the
adorn
sauce.
this
Look
with
at this.
basil or anything like that, because
no.
it doesn't need it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You don't need no garnish. The garnish is the cheese garnish,
That's
GZ.
it. You saw it. It's
Yeah.
table side. It's table. You could do
You could
this.
totally do this table side in the
amazing.
middle of your
I'm
middle
doing
of your
it.
table.
Yeah, you're gonna do it table side at your next
Absolutely.
restaurant?
I
And
love
I'm going to give
this.
Philly and you credit.
Jeff, this is the perfect chicken parm because, like you said, it stays crunchy. There's no soggy crust from it sitting in the sauce. And it's so cheesy, you have to really chew because you get a lot of cheese in there.
It's like mozzarella gum.
I love this.
That baked.
Love it. It is fabulous.
And we are baking this brie in a bread bowl. Starting with a great fresh bread bowl here, right? So we're gonna slop the top off of this.
What kind of bread is that, Jeff?
This is just regular white bread, French boule or whatever. You can, just make sure it's round. You'll see why in a second, okay? So we're gonna go about a third of the way down, kind of lop the top off that, third of the way down. Now we're gonna save this for a little bit. Now we're gonna take our brie, kind of measure it up right in the center of that. and cut around the brie. Do you see what I'm getting at, Jeffrey?
Measure
Right?
twice, cut once.
Exactly. So we're gonna, right? So now we can return the brie back to our little board here. Now we got this nice little cut. You can use a serrated, depending on how soft and fresh. This is, you know, you don't want to use old bread for this. You do want it to be fresh, right? You want it to kind of have that chew and crackly nature to it. And then we're just gonna pull this out.
Jeff, it looks like you also cut the top off the brie and the bread.
Yes.
Both of them.
Good observation.
Shiny.
Sorry, we cut the rind off the top of the brie, so it's easier to dunk into and
That's
scoop.
right.
That's a hard time. Once that brie hits room temperature, it's like you gotta saw through it sometimes. So this way, it makes the dunkability that much greater. Next, we take this habanero jelly, a spicy jalapeno jam.
love
And
it.
play around with it. This is just a great, sweet, spicy, you know, always pairs well with brie. We are gonna coat the bottom of this bowl here with that. So much fun, right? Now we're gonna put a little olive oil just to kind of leave it a little more, you know, luxuriousness and a little fat in there. So now we're gonna take this and start all the way up to the kind of edge here. Make these little slits in there. So we're gonna make all those cuts. The brie goes right in the center. Since we measured it, it fits like a glove. Look at that. Nestle it in there. It's gonna melt, okay? I'm gonna hit this with a little more. Beautiful. And then we're gonna put the top on. Goes in the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. And then the magic really happens, okay? All right, you ready?
I call the top.
Ready?
I call the top.
Stop it right now.
Show
I
that.
call the top.
That's going in a doggy bag. So I'm just gonna add some pomegranate seeds for some festive color and texture and tang. By all means,
We go
kids.
in there?
Look at that, just pulls right out of there. I like how, Katie went for an apple.
I love the apple
Sonny,
brie.
epic.
I love the stinky brie thing. It's so good.
I could eat the whole
So
thing.
creamy and rich. This is really fabulous.
These are my Quesabirria Tacos. Starting
I'll take it.
with the meat base here. Alex, you are on sear duty. I have bone-in short ribs and big cubes of chuck roast right in there. We season these, we seared them hard.
Take them out.
Take them out. We'll get our vegetables and peppers going here. Super simple. I'm using the fiery element
You
I'm
need any
using.
peppers I have over here?
No, thank you, because we're only using dried peppers
Oh, I
here.
love.
Starting with guajillo chilies.
I love.
And then ancho chilies. Guajillo chilies are fresh marisol, and then your ancho chilies are ripe poblano chilies. These have got the same spice as a jalapeno. So, Sonny, for you, I took the seeds out.
What?
Opened the stem,
I
cracked
like
them out,
the
shook
heat.
them over the garbage. We're gonna throw them right in some boiling water along with these dried chilies to rehydrate them. Very simple recipe too. Quartered white onion right in there, almost making a salsa. Some red tomatoes. Boom. 4 cloves of garlic right in there because we're gonna
Why
blend
not?
all this up. And a little bit of that beef base we love. We keep in our fridge just to help amp up that braising liquid.
Amp
You
it
don't
up.
salt or the water or anything, right? You
Oh,
just
that
mix
beef
it.
base
just
is
did
so
that.
Beef
salty.
base is gonna
Yeah.
do it. I promise you. We're
So
gonna
salty.
simmer this for about 5 minutes. Let it steep until those peppers are pliable and soft. I got some ready to go right here. Those perfectly cooked onions and tomatoes and peppers go right into a blender.
I love that.
And we're gonna reserve all that poaching liquid as our braising liquid. So you get all the flavor infused in there. You have this ultra rich, spicy.
Oh.
I have some cumin and some oregano. If you can bloom that, please. Maybe throw a little oil in that too if there's not enough fat. Just bloom it in that fat, those beautiful herbs and the cumin.
Smells
Is
great.
necessary. And we're gonna blend up all those peppers.
Oh, look at that.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly, I said
Look
it.
at that. There goes your color.
But you can already smell that, right? The oregano in there, the cumin, it's just necessary. And look at all that beautiful fond on the bottom. It's scraping, all that caramelization. All that pepper flavor is about to go in right now, right in
Smells
that
so good.
fat. Almost frying that salsa, if you
Yeah, you
will.
gotta fry that.
Yeah.
So
Right?
much
Just
flavor
something magic
happening here.
happens when it hits that oil, and we're gonna nestle that chuck in there.
It
So
smells incredible in here. Oh my god.
bone-in short ribs.
It's like quesabirria is like the French dip of tacos.
Well, I mean, you know, people, it's exploding all over the internet, but this
Yeah.
really, this is from the Jalisco region, Tijuana. kind of it has its roots there, but it's not a very old dish, especially with tacos. Like, birria has existed, but with tacos, with queso, fried quesadilla, if you will, is a fairly new thing that has kind of swept the nation. You know?
I love it. Yeah.
Drippings in there.
Drippings, of course, in there. Now we're gonna take the rest of that braising liquid, or that poaching liquid, and we're gonna just cover it. Leave some of the tops exposed. We have a giant bay leaf from the old country, obviously. I mean, look at that thing. That's like half a bush. Now we are going to place it in the oven, 350 for 3 to 3.5 hours. Until when? Uncovered.
Wow, that's
Done till it's shreddy.
Till it's shreddy. Exactly.
You mean till it's ready?
Till it's shreddy and ready. Okay, so maybe start checking at 2.5, but these were fairly thick. I got some going here, but first, remember all that beautiful meat?
No.
I've been hand shredding it, right? You got that piece of chuck right there. Look at that.
Look at that.
Zero resist.
Slow and low, baby.
And again, I love to use my hands because every so often you'll find a little kind of vein of fat, gristly stuff that's not awesome. Totally edible, totally rendered, but remember that short rib? Right off the bone, I peel the bone off. You got that kind of hard, fatty band there.
That bone.
No me gusta, and then it comes apart. Right? We're gonna zip through all these.
Could you do this in a slow cooker?
You can definitely do this in a slow cooker, right?
Jeff, I really love that you're taking a recipe that has become so popular on social media and breaking it down.
Breaking it down.
Breaking it down.
It's like we see it on Instagram all the time. Now we know how to make it.
And then, of course, that liquid separates from fat. So I ladled a bunch of that beautiful braising liquid, especially the stuff off the top, put it in a bowl and let it sit for a minute. Now we're gonna take that orange fat and paint the outside.
That gives it that greasy, like
That greasy
taqueria
orange
vibe.
vibe to it, face down like that. I got some Oaxacan cheese here. Queso Oaxaca, which is a great melting cheese, similar to mozzarella.
Could you use Monterey Jack?
You can use Monterey Jack, but I would either stick to the Oaxaca cheese or the Chihuahua cheese. I think that, to me, are the two best cheeses for this, because you get that chew. We're making the beef. These are going right on a medium griddle, okay? You'll see them flap open, but once you kind of start working them a little bit, they'll behave. All right, Sonny, you are up first.
I'm ready. I'm here in the hot seat.
Ooh, you're here in the hot seat. I'm gonna give you this one because
I'll
I
take
know
it.
you'll like that.
It looks pretty.
And I'm gonna give you one with a little bit of cheese skirt on there.
I'll take it.
Now I got these ramekins ready to go.
Hook me up with that
You take
jus.
that warm, beautiful consomme here, and that's what they call it. I know it's not like, we didn't do an egg white raft and done all that. This is a little more street style, but totally infused with flavor. And that's for your dippers. Alex did me a favor.
Yeah, this is what she does.
And
with-
all the stems and leaves all up in there.
Cilantro.
Serve it with a couple limes. Squeeze some lime right in the dipper.
Yep.
And you are GTG.
Very familiar with this moment here.
I
It's
wanna-
only good if it starts dripping down your palm. You know what I'm saying?
Now I'm gonna
Looks
tell you
great.
something. Guess what's better the next day? This
Mm-hmm.
meat, you just want to pack it tightly. You want to put a lot of sauce on there to keep it hydrated
it?
and
Oh.
stuff.
Look at
It
that,
is-
Sonny. Ooh.
What's
Oh,
that?
She got a pull going.
You got a cheese. you got a cheese goatee.
The meat is tender and juicy and flavorful. It tastes like beef. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the right cuts there, Jeff.
Ladies and gentlemen, my white hot pizza dip.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? Katie, I'm gonna put you on garlic knot duty
Okay.
because we need 12 knots, please.
Okay.
So you're gonna do a 12 and then roll those 12 out long enough to just tie it into a knot.
Okay.
So these are gonna be like traditional garlic knots. That's a homemade pizza dough. You can get the recipe at foodnetwork.com/the kitchen. Really nice, hydrated, fluffy, well-proof dough. That's what you want. Let's work on the white dip part, starting with mascarpone.
What?
This is, right, Italian cream cheese, essentially, and dips love cream cheese. It's a great vehicle for a lot of flavors. A ton of Parmesan.
Yeah.
Boom. Ricotta cheese. A little ricotta right in there for some little, like I like to call clumpy creaminess, Jeffrey. Little texture in there. Katie, very nice job. Now, my little own addition is some roasted garlic, roasted right in the bulb. You cradle it in some foil, you throw it in the oven. while you're preheating, whatever, and it just mellows the garlic and gives it a whole nother kind of caramely roasted flavor that I love. So we're gonna use half of this, and the rest of it's gonna go into the butter. Look at this. Look at.
Oh.
That garlic just turns into a paste instantly in that bowl, so you mash it around a little bit. And then the last white hot ingredient, some fresh grated whole milk, low moisture mozzarella, my favorite to use.
Moisture.
You gotta have low moisture. Oh, you get that chew then, that stringiness. That's how you get those dramatic cheese pull. Low moisture whole milk.
We love
The
a
other
cheese
half is
pull
gonna
at
be
the kitchen.
saved. Oh, we do love a cheese
Katie,
pull.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to make a garlic knot like that. Can you just slow down and do one?
It's this beautiful dough that's so nice and stretchy, and I'm just taking it and putting it into a knot.
But then you
And
like
that's it.
turn it inside out.
Yeah, and then I kind of just sealing it at the bottom and
This is
putting
beautiful.
them in there.
Yeah, look at
Like,
you.
I only
This is
asked for
fun.
12. Katie's doing, you're like 24. You're going
You know, I wasn't
above and
listening,
beyond.
Jeff.
No, that's all right. I
You
could tell.
asked for 12.
Little salt, right? I don't want to, no, I'm not doing, I want to stick to the white hot dip.
White, no pep.
No pep. You can use white pepper, but you know.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's gonna get oozy in the oven. Katie, that is looking great. What we wanna do is let that sit in our cast iron pre-grease skillet, just like that, right? You need that olive oil on the bottom to help it unstick. Let it proof for another hour till it doubles in size. And this is what we're looking like. Look at them knots,
Yes.
Oh my God, those look like cinnamon rolls.
right?
Yeah.
Here
And
we
I'd
go.
rather have this than a cinnamon roll.
Can you be tacky, Jeff, and buy the garlic knots at your local pizzeria, make
Raw?
the dip, and pretend that you made the knots?
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay, cool.
As long as you bake them with this, because that's kind of like, you know, the magic. That's what happens. Look at this. So now we're cradling this white hot pizza dip with them garlic knots and making this just one pan dip here. Pull and peel, if you will. Look at that.
People are
What's
going
not
to go
to
nuts
like?
for it.
We're
This
gonna
is dramatic.
It's a white hot pizza dip. Nobody's doing this besides me.
'Cause you-
Next, we got
you're
some
just
melted
white
butter
hot
because
pizza.
we got to bless the garlic knots, right? We got to baptize them with some butter, okay? Some parsley in there because you got to get vegetable greens. Next come that roasted garlic,
More
whatever's
garlic.
left.
Oh.
What the heck is going on here,
that
Jeffers?
Wow.
I can't stand myself today.
What would you guys drink with this?
Ooh.
I drink about 6 beers per year, and I would bust out a beer
This
for
would be one of the ones?
I think so, and I think any beer qualifies.
I'm actually
Like a 40 ounce, I think malt liquor, it doesn't matter.
Well,
I'd
Do
like
it.
to see that, Alex.
I'm gonna go with tradition. I'm actually making an Italian Lambrusco spritz after this.
Oh, well, that'll
I
go
love
very nice.
Lambrusco. That'd be
La, la.
perfect
Lambrusco,
with
the
this.
underrated red wine.
Yes, a little fizz.
Yes.
Now we have a little garlic
pinch.
salt right on top.
excited.
Last but not least, because I don't like to waste anything.
Oh, no. No
That-
waste around
Oh
here.
my
That
God.
mozzarella
More
right
cheese,
on top.
yes.
This is
Don't you love
how
a hot dip when there's the layer of the melted cheese
Something is
on
not
top?
right about this.
There is nothing.
Super decadent.
There's so much not right that it's not even wrong, Jeffrey. And what I
Oh,
do
wow.
need is probably a pallet jack to get this to the oven. So this is going into the oven, 400 degrees, 35, 40 minutes. You got first bite, buddy. Are you ready for the unveiling?
my
This
God.
is a two-hander lander, guys.
You guys, come
Wow.
Oh,
on.
look at that.
Oh my God, it
Still-
looks like a
Wow.
pizza.
It's a pizza minus the bottom crust. Let's garnish. I got a couple garnishes here that I got from Jeffrey's pantry.
Oh my God.
Little
Are you
chili
making fun of
plate.
me?
A little chili plate. Little
Yes.
pepperoncini, as
Yes.
Jeffrey says. Some basanegal. We're gonna do a little.
Don't you want to tap the basil for the
Yes.
oils?
Oh, you gotta.
Oh, wake it up.
You
No,
gotta,
you gotta do it. You slap it.
Listen, you could totally omit all garnish, but I don't know. I'm just kind of free forming, and then a little extra parm.
And you gotta say, in a cast iron, Jeff is genius because it's gonna stay warm for about an hour.
Dude,
You're right.
Yeah, you know, the thermal capacity of a cast iron skillet is bar none. All right, Katie, you are up here.
This is so gorgeous for a holiday party.
This is stunning.
It's a proud moment.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
proud of you
stunning.
all.
Jeff.
Like, even the knife wants to
As
get
a
in
family
there.
member.
It's like the cast iron skillet doesn't want to give the. Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
You're just showing
Look
off.
at
That's
that.
wrong. That's wrong.
Come
And,
on.
we submit
Come
it.
on. He's so dramatic
Yeah,
with
you.
that.
It's okay. Big deal.
You know I had to be dramatic with that.
You know, it's
You love
kind
My
of,
drama.
mouth is watering just looking at this.
it kind of it has like a little Parker House roll vibe too.
Totally.
Oh my God. Look how hot it is.
This is spectacular. I mean, all that gooey, creamy cheesiness that you love on a white pizza with the little heat of those crushed red chili flakes. Whoa. But all the roasted garlic coming through and those delicious garlic knots.
Italian unstuffed shells.
Unstuffed
Right? And some sausage, which I got started with browning right here. We crumbled it up nice and fine, so every bite you get a bit of sausage in there.
What do you
You're
need?
gonna work on a classic stuffing for the shells that were, again, not stuffing, just mixing in there.
Okay.
So some whole milk regatta, a little nutmeg, right?
Oh.
Kind of that bechamel vibe. It's my
Garlic.
addition. A little garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of mozzarella cheese to help kind of give it a little stringiness.
Is that low fat or regular?
Everything's a high fat here. Come on,
Everything's
this
high
is
fat.
not-
Okay,
I
just
mean,
want to make sure.
I mean, the spinach is actually low-fat spinach.
Egg.
Egg, and then we got some frozen spinach. Squeeze all the water out. I can't stress that enough. You
It's
have
like a
to eat all the water.
ravioli filling, right?
It
Almost?
is. You can use this for anything. Manigot, the stuffed shells, the cannelloni, whatever you want. And then, of course, some Parmesan cheese.
All right.
Mix that all together. Season
sir.
it, salt and pepper.
Yes, sir.
I got some sausage here that I browned earlier. What we want to do is take a slotted spoon. Make sure you kind of drain that on a paper towel. You don't want too much of that fat in there. You want the essence of the fat. But we're also going to kind of remove some of that gorgeous fat that we did render out of there. We just want to keep a little bit. So it depends on how fatty your sausage is, you know.
Is that sweet sausage or hot sausage?
This is hot. I'm going hot.
Good.
Now, if the kids are involved,
They like spice. The kids
they do.
now like
you gotta,
spice, right?
You know, that's you got to introduce it early. Now look at all those beautiful bits in there. Now this is a little too much fat for me, so I'm just going to take a paper towel because we are kind of one-pan planning this. We are
Yes,
going
we
to
are.
put this directly in there, just kind of a light non-stick coating of that delicious sausage fat. That is perfect. You see what we're left with here? Now, if you don't mind, Jeffrey, please mix that pasta within there. Super al dente. All right, beautiful. So you're just gonna mix that, right? It's all gonna come together. Still a little moisture in that spinach where it's gonna help move things along in
beautiful.
there. But the goal is to try to get that cheese to creep inside those shells. So don't be afraid.
We're using a small one today, but traditionally it's large, right?
Large, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're
Yeah.
literally either
Okay.
piping or spooning
Got it.
into the shells and then baking it all. And then it's just kind of omitting that step. Here I have some beautiful crushed San Marzano tomatoes.
Oh, man.
Okay? Get the whole, just hand crush them.
Listen to that.
I'm just gonna fortify, again, almost deglaze the pan, all that delicious fondant there, and create a bottom kind of nonstick layer for the rest of our shells. Okay?
Nice
So you can
fun.
use like the juicier bits on the bottom. Jeffrey, great job. I'm gonna actually shut off the heat on this, but you can see we're kind of intensifying the tomato flavor,
great.
sucking up all that beautiful fat, and now we can add our sausage in there, bud.
Sausage, come on.
Look at that, right in
Let me
there.
try
Yeah,
this.
mix it.
Oh, man.
Well, I did have about
pounds less.
25% more sausage. Okay, so we got that layer of beautiful San Marzano, and now we can
Are you putting more tomato
Gently.
sauce in it, or that's it?
on top. Yes, you're gonna see. So we are going to put this, I got my oven at 375.
This is just gonna like...
Don't disturb this, no need to mix. I want that layer of tomato on the bottom to help kind of make it a little more scoopable and give it another beautiful layer of flavor. Look
This
at
like
that.
resembles my mom's dish, the shepherd's pie, but it's like Italian version.
Right? Isn't it like
It's
so
kind of the
funny?
same
All
thing.
the comfort food, right, is all like kind of these one pot, easy
Cheese,
to make.
meat, pork.
And then obviously feeds a crowd, right? So we're gonna kind of scoop those beautiful San Marzano tomatoes right on top of there.
God, does that look good?
Getting my spin, which we didn't use a lot growing up. We didn't see this a lot, the fresh mozzarella.
No.
Right? It was always shredded mozzarella like
Yeah.
we used in the inside of the stuffing. But I just love the look of this, right? It's
Oh,
got
man.
that, I don't know, just modern look to it, and it melts so nice. So we're gonna throw it in the oven for about 10, 15 minutes, just to kind of, it all comes together. That I got one ready to go here
Jeff.
for us. Jeffrey, are you ready?
I am ready.
Look at this, double oven close. Unbelievable. And there you go. That's all you really
that looks beautiful.
caramelized on top. And now we're just, we can dot it with, look at this,
Oh,
little
so
modern
cute.
flair,
So
right?
cute.
That's what we love. Just a little baby basil I love on top of there.
You can put olive oil, you can put some more Parmesan if you want on
You
top
can
of
go
that,
to
right?
town with this, right? All right, let's taste.
Come on.
You ready?
A nice piece, a crusty.
What do you want?
Piece,
You
edgy,
want-
crusty piece.
Look at this,
Yeah,
right?
You know, we're from Worcester. We like burnt stuff.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Make sure you get. Oh! I blew it. But look at that. It smells. I swear, it smells like every graduation party I've ever gone to in my family.
That's a good one, Jeff.
Pizza, mini sandwiches, and little shells are.
It's not stuffed, and it's not unstuffed. It comes together so beautifully. That fresh tomato. You know what's great? That tomato. It's not cooked a lot, so it's fresh. The acid's great. Everything is in balance.
A hot cheese, crunchy mac and cheese. Right. So we're starting with these. Okay, we got some milk going here, nice and warm. And how do you extract that fiery kind of slightly sweet from the corn flavor in here?
What are you about to do?
We are making a hot cheese crunchy sachet.
Stop it
Never
right now.
been done before.
A bouquet
Sonny,
crunchy?
Oh my
bouquet
gosh.
crunchy.
A bouquet crunchy.
So much like you would like aromatics and herbs you put in there to steep through a soup or a sauce or whatever without getting the solid bits in there, we're gonna do the same thing with some cheesecloth. Put it in here, wrap it up. Sonny, take the other half, just pulverize them in that bag, please. So you take a little butcher twine.
I wish you would have told me about this because one time I bought a case of these because I'm addicted. And it must have been a wonky case because 5 or 6 of the bags just had huge nuggets of the flavor.
Yes.
Just huge flavor nuggets that didn't.
At the bottom?
Yeah, that didn't get
Wait,
like.
you bought a case of these? A case of bags?
I'm on the internet, okay? You know, what can I say?
Keeping the American economy.
You can't find them at every
lively.
gas station. You know, you can't find them at every grocery store or gas station. So that's
So great, I got some whole milk in here, and we're gonna add that in. What better way to introduce new flavors and experiences like spice to kids than mac and cheese forms, right? It's a very familiar vehicle. So what we discovered that is you can kind of see it happening for whatever's in that bag of hot cheese crunchies starts turning the milk a little pink, right? So how do we kind of bump up that orange flavor that we're all used to?
Yeah, because we want it really orange. We don't want like a medicinal pink.
Looking pink, right? So we're adding some annatto.
Smart.
Right? Now, this is what it looks like. It comes from the achote tree, and it's these little seeds from the fruit in there, and it's used in a lot of foods. It's totally food safe, all natural way to kind of color
American
your
cheese,
food. American cheese,
cheddar cheese,
cheese. The outside of Munster cheese. And it's also formed in a paste. You know, it's grown regionally in Mexico and Brazil and stuff, and so they use it in a lot of those foods too. Al pastor, a lot of achote paste in there. So we're gonna let this steep for a little bit, get all that flavor out, and we got the annatto seeds in there, season it up, and this is what it looks like when we are done. You did that, can you hand cut this? I got some, the trifecta of mac and cheese cheeses here. Some cheddar, of course, for sharpness. Creaminess, we got some slices from the deli of American cheese, and that was Fontina cheese you just grated.
It was
so you got
delicious.
creamy, you got sharpness, and you got American.
What do you want with this? You want some like ribbons?
Yeah, just ribbons. It's all gonna melt. So we can see that sachet kind of got all that flavor of those hot cheese crunchies in there. No need to open this. It's a Pandora's box of weirdness, but we love it because it did its job in here, right? So we got the super flavored milk, which we're gonna add to our what, Jeffrey? Our roux here, because we are making this hot cheese crunchy bechamel. You love it, Sonny, you're almost done there.
You know it.
So we got equal parts here, butter and flour, 1/4 cup each, and this is 3 cups of milk, so this is the perfect ratio for that silky texture, kind of still tight, but still kind of gooey, right? And just add that warm, flavored milk to the roux.
Jeff, I gotta know what Sarah thought when you made this.
She's measuring her chicken breast
This
and
does
her
not
salad.
seem like a Smarro
I've
recipe.
seen
definitely
it.
not.
I'm excited. I literally have seen this on the internet. I follow a couple of food pages, and they have these places in Cali where you can go get the mac and cheese in one of those takeout aluminum foil circular, and it's just, the top is just laden with the crunchies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? With a beautiful cheese pull.
So you'll see, we didn't do a lot because my son is 11. He's not like, putting hot sauce on everything yet. This was a great way, he loved it because it's mild and it's sweet and it's fun and it's bright red, right? So we're gonna add the cheese.
Oh, that was good.
Right in there.
Don't forget the cheddar.
Cheddar. Sharper the better, I think, just for flavor, right? Why,
Gotta go up against that pasta.
Yeah, which we're using elbow mac. And what that American cheese does, why I think it's pretty necessary, it does help emulsify the other cheeses together.
I always
right?
want the elbow mac.
You know, at the end of the day, if
elbow.
I can't eat mac and cheese with a spoon, it's probably not for me, right? So this is all gonna melt.
Good
Look
color.
at how great color, right? That's the annatto in there.
Good
right?
old
Experiments with that.
annatto.
Rather than pulling out the little squeeze bottle of red, then you can get in a little trouble. Okay, so we're gonna put super al dente
Yep.
elbow mac right in there. And we're just gonna take it off the heat and stir it. I got my oven at 350.
Wow.
You got your crunchy, cheesy tops there.
Yep. Waiting for you and ready
Yeah.
to go.
I mean, look at that ratio already. You're right, it's kind of that perfect combination of baked mac and cheese and stovetop mac and cheese.
I love both, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just gotta make a quick bechamel and make it happen on the stovetop. But if you've got time to throw it in the oven and let everything come together.
look at
That
that.
is a crazy color.
It is crazy.
So crazy. It matches the napkins.
It looks like a supercharged cheddar cheese, though.
It
It
does, right?
does.
All right, so now we're gonna top it with more hot cheese crunchies.
Texture time.
All right.
Crunchy on 10. Just
So you can
crunchy.
obviously go
Harder in the paint.
bananas on
depending
this.
on what you want, right?
Exactly. So this is going in the oven, 350 for about 10, 15 minutes just to kind of bubble up. Everything's already cooked. Sonny, I got it. You stay right
Yeah,
there.
I'm just gonna clean up.
Yeah, you clean up
Get ready
for me.
for you. Get rid of this bouquet crunchy.
Bouquet crunchy. And here you go. These things can burn fast, so keep an eye on this, especially if you're just gonna broil it, right?
Whoa, right here, buddy.
Oh, land it.
Cheese, crunchy, mac and cheese.
Yes.
Straight from the Mauro kitchen to Mr. Zakarian's mouth. Look at you. What are you thinking? What's going through your head there, buddy?
Just
Look
we've
at-
had so
oh.
many sensations today of color and texture.
Look at that.
It's been a
Look at
color
that.
and texture sensation day.
Yeah.
That's what we do. There you go. Okay, well, I got a
I
corner
haven't
piece
had
for
this
you.
yet. Like as many
Right.
times as I've seen it online, you'd think I
Well,
would
it's an
try and
easy
make it at
cleanup.
home. Thank you, Jeff, for doing the work.
Well, hey, you know
is
what? This is
awesome.
a, I don't know, to me it's,
You know what, Jeff? This is really good. It's spicy, but not overpowering. Nice, creamy, cheesy sauce. And then, like, you get that back heat. It comes in at the end. And I love the little crunchy bits on top.
this is my classic French onion soup.
Yes.
Of course,
Oui.
Jeff.
Katie, my
Yes.
sous chef, you're gonna get one of the most important components of this dish is the baguette. Tell me, is that baguette fresh and
It's
hot?
warm.
It is warm.
Still.
All right. You can
At
use
the end.
stale baguette, that's fine, but I love
On a
starting with
bias,
fresh bread
or-
because yeah, kind of subtle bias. And we're gonna
Subtle
clean it
bias.
with a tremendous amount of oil for that. A little thinner than that if you
Oh.
don't mind. And then both ends, and we're gonna stick it in the oven for, you know, a little bit till it's nice and golden and toasty, okay? That's easy breezy. We're going with that. Now let's go with the onions here. Nice white onion, okay? Nothing too sweet, just a nice utility onion, holds its shape, caramelizes well, and that's what this recipe is all about. Slow, low caramelization of these beautiful, naturally sweet onions. All right, so what we did was peel it, have it this way, right? So you get this kind of French cut, some might say, of an onion. This kind of holds its shape. We've talked about it. Not too thin, not too thick. And we're gonna cut it kind of pole to pole after cutting it through the equator.
Okay, you gonna longitude it.
Yeah, longitude,
After you
latitude.
latituded it.
And then we're gonna top-down cuts from the tip to the stem, okay? The root to the stem. Now we have this big bowl of onions. We have a large enameled cast iron Dutch oven here ready to go. The biggest, the most robust pan you have, this is when you use it. 4 tablespoons of butter. Melting it nice. Got my wooden spoon here. And we are going to add these onions. Okay, about a pound of onions in there, and this will cook down tremendously. To this, we're gonna add some salt, a little kosher salt, not too much, just to kind of lightly help start weeping it all out. But again, salt is the enemy of caramelization because it draws out all that moisture. And we wanna really focus on developing the sugars in these onions. And to help kind of expedite that process, give it a little extra, just a little, couple pinches of sugar with the onions.
Controversial.
All right. All right, next, we let this go for about 45 minutes. Could take longer, could take less. when you are caramelizing your onions, you do not want to disturb it too much. But if you open the pot and you see a lot of the, tasty bits of the fond sticking to the bottom of the pan, keep a little water, give it a little splash of water, and with your wooden spoon so we can get some. And people neglect that kind of what I like to call side fond or wall fond that creeps up the side of the pot. That's all flavor too. Don't neglect that. That's what we're looking for. Like that's the color.
Don't. You gotta let it go. People are they get anxious.
They get antsy.
Would you put that broth in there?
It's over.
Yeah.
There's zero more caramelization.
Yeah.
Once you start like deglazing too much through the process, it really does kind of slow down the process as well. And we want to embody the spirit of this soup, which is flavor and technique and a little bit of sherry.
Do it.
Help deglaze it towards the end, right? And you scrape up all that stuff on the bottom. Turn up this a little bit. Now we can start adding, we got some warm stock here, and for some herbs, we got a bay leaf and a bundle or a sachet
Excuse
of
me?
fresh thyme.
It's a bouquet garni.
A bouquet garni.
Voilà, c'est ça.
A sachet is in cheesecloth usually, so
Correct,
you are
Amanda.
correct that we get a little bit, but it's easier to pick out. It's not just for looking pretty. It's for function too.
Just like you, Jeff.
Very nice. Nobody's like, that guy's pretty. Nobody said that about me.
Jokes.
Even with the neckerchief? So again, we want to kind of cook out that alcohol, let this intensify, let all those
Smell it.
onions soak up that sherry. Next, some warm beef stock. Look at that. Boom.
Same thing.
Right? I should have poured it from the side. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
was
the
getting
water.
some ice water at the saloon. So we're gonna let this come up to a simmer. Look how simple this is, right?
Simple.
It's all time and technique and cutting the onions right, just putting enough of everything, not too much of everything in there. And what we're left with after about another 30, 40 minutes is the base of a great French onion soup. What we want to do
gorgeous.
is fish out,
Le bouquet garni.
into the bowl. All right, this is ready to go. Katie, I will bring the horse to the water, if you will.
Okay.
And our toasts are a little done, a little
Toasted.
crostini there. I like to give a little kind of centrifugal stir here so I can scoop up and get an even ratio of broth to onion.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know what I mean? Instead of just like
'cause
dipping
sometimes
from
I'll
the
just go in
bottom.
and get the glop of onion and then go in there for some of the liquid. That's very smart, Jeff. We'll give it a little swirl.
A little swirly. And I like to go fairly to the top because, again, the cheese. I think the onions are the true star of this, but man, we want to structurally build this, so you might need a little more in there. These are big old crocks, but you need the handle on here.
Yeah.
You can use a ramekin at home. You can use like an oven-safe bowl. Or I'm sure you can find these online for.
It's kind of like a
very-
Moscow mule. You need the vessel.
You need the vessel,
Yeah,
right?
just to
One
feel
of those
like you're
things
doing
that
it.
like
Yeah.
you find on sale, and when you find it,
Buy it. Yep.
Even if you're not planning on making the French onion soup right away, just buy it.
There's also a certain.
I also put like cheese sauces in there. Like
Yeah.
I do nacho sauce, like individual nacho sauce. You
Oh,
can
that's a good
reuse
idea.
those French
I think
onion
there's a
bowls.
look to French onion soup that's almost as important as the actual soup.
Yeah.
It's got to look like he's gonna do it. I know what he's gonna do.
Oh, you know. I mean,
The
You gotta
smell of
complete
the
it. You
sherry.
can't
Yeah,
like
the
half.
mess on the
half-
edge.
Yeah, you can't do it half baked.
Hey, now, we're going to full bake
Oh
these.
yeah, there we go.
Throw
Look at
a
this.
couple croutons
Really
on the
important
top,
right here.
Do it.
Right? Without submerging like that. That guy went for a dip. I'm going to change him out. I did not. He just ate. You got to wait an hour.
Hey, I don't
Boom.
blame him. He wanted to get in there in that soup.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff.
I got to do two sheets.
have
Oh,
to.
it's
You
gotta
have to.
I gotta
have
do
a thick
two.
layer of cheese.
You
on
need it.
there.
Right on there.
It's a must.
So
What kind of cheese?
Anybody want to guess?
Gruyere.
Gruyere, of course. You could substitute nothing. Gruyere is available everywhere, right? The deli sliced or the sheets of it that come pre-shingled, if you will. Totally worth it because it's going to make your life easier and an even melt, which, let's check on these, huh?
Where do you put it? What kind of oven? Why?
So we are going to put it on a sheet pan.
Yeah.
As many bowls as you need at a time. Don't just loosey-goosey this to the oven, okay? You want to keep it on a sheet. I'm going to need another rag. Give me that, man. I thought I was going to be all swollen showing off for you guys, but this is a two-handed job. You'll see why. Oh, meh, get, oh.
Bon Dieu.
That is it. That's the promise.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm just going to.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that. Maybe, I don't want to, man, there's no more room. I have all the
Here.
pots going. Thank you very much, Katie. But look at this. This is what we wanted.
Mon Dieu. That smell.
That's Italian. No, kidding.
That's amore.
That's amore.
This is a soup that makes you want to
Smile.
Well, yeah, and pull out a fork too. You know what I mean?
Yes, you've got to get in there. And...
Yeah.
Again,
you guys.
Cote de Rhone, red wine, Burgundy, must
yeah.
have.
Done, right?
I
All
like
day.
that you're our sommelier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how I got
Let us
Cote de Rhone
know.
with this. I like to try the broth
Simple.
first.
I mean,
Yeah, I like exactly what I did. I tried to get the cheese, the bread, the broth.
I feel like
you know.
I'm at Cafe Fleur, sitting there in Saint Germain, watching the world go by.
just this classic French onion soup.
it's my apple cheddar and brie grilled cheese, right?
I'm
It's
in.
like a fall charcuterie board in sandwich form. Starting with the bread, we got some cranberry walnut bread, right? Right from the loaf. Fresh, right from the bakery.
Artisanal bread.
Beautiful. The first thing I like to do before I start building my grilled cheese, right? It may seem sacrilege, but I like to spread butter, room temperature butter on the outside. And how are we spreading this, kids?
Crust to
Crust to
crust.
crust.
Is a must, always, right? Just
That's
enough to
not
coat it.
controversial. Why is that? Because
Well,
most
because some
do
people just
mayonnaise.
drop the butter in the pan.
Oh, okay, I've
right,
done
and then
that.
you burn up the butter, you brown half the butter or whatever. And this way you get all the butter you need, full coverage, right? So you get that golden brown crust that we all love to. So I'm gonna get going with this one, starting with some very sharp cheddar cheese. Right,
Okay.
love it. Now I'm holding it like this so I don't get the butter on the board. You see as I'm doing here? Next, you take 3 slices of Granny Smith
Thin
apples.
slice. And your
Just-
bread, might I add, is thin sliced bread.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not
Beautiful.
regulation.
It's not regulation. Next, watch this. I'm just gonna kind of keep it like that. We got some of my favorite ingredient on the planet. Nice little kind of tang and heat you need with this. Some cherry pepper relish, right? So this is gonna go on this end. And we're gonna spread this ever so gingerly. Again, crust to crust. So every bite, you get a little, it packs that punch, right? Now, of course, this is not in a lot of grilled cheeses these days, but I'm putting it on mine since it is fall.
Add
The
it.
funkiest, the funnest melting cheese, a little brie, 2 slices of that. And there you got the ingredients for the interior, right? We got the flavor inside that bread with the cranberries. So you got sweetness, you got spice, you got butter, you got sharp cheddar, you got funky brie, you got spicy.
You know what else you got?
What else you got?
Qualified.
Oh! Look at this pan, right? And what temperature do we cook grilled cheeses at, right?
I'm doing medium
No.
high.
Medium low, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Okay?
'Cause you wanna melt that
This is
inside.
actually, I can already tell this is a little hot, right? So I don't
Yeah.
want it to, so what happens, right? You end up toasting the exterior of the bread too quickly and the inside's still cold. And we really want all these flavors to melt. Brie is pretty hearty. I mean, it melts nice, but it needs a fair amount of heat. So this is going right on there. Gentle sizzle. And to help mimic that dome,
Do
like
it.
we do at the diner, we're just gonna do a nice little lid on this, right?
Diner dome.
And we're just gonna let it kind of very low, like medium low, almost touching low, okay? We're gonna flip it once, put the lid back on. How do we know it's done? The inside looks gooey. It looks ready to go. But another thing you can do to help expedite it, and I had done this in this pan, is that you could do it in 2 sections.
Jeff.
Right, so I just want to show you guys.
Cheater.
It's not cheating, right? If you're doing 4 sandwiches, obviously do it this way. But if you're just doing 2 or 1, this way you can kind of get everything nice and toasty in the middle. So we can sit there. Oh,
Oh, look at that bread.
That
beautiful. We'll
burnt
let this-
cheese.
The edges.
that's it right there, right? So every great sandwich needs a great
Dip?
sauce or dipping thing. Yeah, so we got some great stone ground Dijon mustard. Add a little honey to this and just a little mayonnaise. Quick pantry pull right from the fridge, and you make a creamy honey Dijon, which also pairs so nice with this. And we could put this right in a little sidecar here so we could dip it in. Look at that.
I'll never forget, first time ever I had a grilled cheese with ketchup. It was in
Whoa.
Denmark.
Oh, I like a grilled cheese with ketchup. Yeah.
So good.
Wow.
I love a dip now.
Okay, I need a knife for this because we must.
So you can
cut
use
this.
other cheese that
Oh.
like manchego, mozzarella, Gouda.
Manchego would be great, Gruyere
Yeah.
too, anything kind of nutty and hearty, right? But what I like about using both the Brie, it's got a totally different texture with the cheddar. Cheddar is not, it's a good melting cheese, but after a certain point, it kind of stops at that pullability, you know? So you get the flavor of the sharpness from the cheddar with the
I'll
funkiness.
tell you, you have a party and you've got leftover cheese from your cheese board. This is the perfect thing to make.
Beautiful. Oh man, this is gooey. This is gooey.
Oh, look at the spilling.
Look at the spilling. Look at
Pass
that.
that over here.
All right, who wants some?
I want some.
All right, I'm gonna plate it nice for you. I'm
I
gonna
want
give you a
those
little.
gooey bites.
Okay, we won't deny you that.
Oh.
Look at that. So easy. All right, you guys want to try it too, huh?
Qualify my palate, Jeff.
See, I'm putting this Brie bite right back on there.
Oh.
Oh, man.
I get so excited, don't I?
Yes.
I don't
so
get to make a
light.
lot of sandwiches here, so when I do, I like to really lay it on.
Jeff, it's so well balanced, having that kind of sweet tart apple on there, then the spicy relish kicks in, and the creamy,
I didn't make one for myself.
funky Brie, and the sharp cheddar, and then you've got the really good mustard honey sauce.
Chicago-style deep dish pizzas. You don't need to get on a plane to enjoy it in my hometown. You do it right in your own kitchen. Starting with about 1.25 cups of room temperature water. We're gonna get our yeast bloomed right here. So 1 pack of active dry yeast. It goes right in there. And to help feed that yeast, we're gonna add in about a teaspoon of sugar. This is all gonna start to activate. So this is gonna take about 15 minutes to bloom and get all bubbly, and you know when it has that beautiful layer on top. So press pause and I'll see you back here in 15. All right, it's been 15 minutes. As you can see, the top has got those bubbles on there. The yeast has been fed with sugar. It's activated. It's ready to be combined with the dry ingredients. I have a standing mixer here, fitted with a bowl. Leave that right there, and we can kind of bring the horse to the water and start measuring out our dries here, starting with 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Right into the bowl. So 3 cups of the flour plus 1/2 cup. Next, salt to help season it. So 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Another dry that you typically don't see in a lot of pizza recipes, it's 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar. This helps the dough relax so you don't have to overwork it. You can form it better, and it's less dense and chewy. It's just more, you get more of that even, crispiness that we're looking for. And we can mix these dries up real quick. Make sure it's all together. Now we can add our oil. This has got corn oil in it. We're doing 1/2 cup of oil plus 3 tablespoons. And as always, when you're measuring liquid in a measuring cup, don't hold it in your hand, right? Because you're rocking about, right? Probably listening to tunes, moving the whole time while you're cooking, just getting in the vibe, right? And if I do that while measuring, it's sloshing around. You're not going to get true measuring, see? Put it down, relax the body, take a deep breath, and get it to exactly 1/2 cup without the movement. Plus what? That's right, 3 tablespoons. You guys are listening at home. You could pour this right in the liquids here. Now, I know a lot of the East Coasters, West Coasters are like, this is not real pizza. This is a casserole in a round dish with cheese. It's a cabbage. I guarantee you, you make this, you come to Chicago, you sit down in a proper pizzeria, and you have this, nobody's gonna have anything bad to say about it because it's delicious pizza. This is like the true OG Chicago-style deep dish. Smooth. Okay, let's pour this in there, get it going. Now we could pour, remember, in here we have the water, the bloomed yeast, and the oil. It's all coming together, okay? You just wanna make sure you get yourself that rubber spatula on hand, and we're gonna scrape down the bowl. Why are we doing this right when we're getting going is because this is a very, very short knead. It's a quick dough almost, closer to a biscuit than it is to a pizza dough traditionally. So you get those layers, that crag. It sucks up the butter in the end, and it's more of like that, just beautiful, light, crackery, biscuity crust. And that's why we wanna aim for about a minute knead on this, all right? Maybe 90 seconds, nothing more than that. Right when you see it come together, you're done. We're looking for that crispy, biscuity crust, not a big, bready, chewy, fluffy crust. 1, give it a little more, just to kind of get it off the hook. 10, 9, 7, 34, 28, hike. That's all we need. Trust me. And you could smell that yeast in there. I just like to kind of form it into a nice little quick ball. Here we go. And there you have it. Now, that is a crazy looking pizza dough, right? It's not that perfectly smooth, sheeny dough, right? It's got character, right? It's got things about it. It's a rough structure. So all we're gonna do is give it a couple turns here on our board. No extra flour necessary, right? This is not sticky. It's not a super hydrated dough. But we are gonna form it into a tight ball. We got our proofing bowl here, just a little bit of oil to help it from not sticking. We will put this dough in a non-reactive bowl. I always like glass over metal, right? Just doesn't get crusty on the bottom, has a little more, barrier between you and the heat. Somewhere warm, but not on your stove where you're doing the preheating, because you'll definitely get that crust on the bottom. It was just not fun to work with, right? We want this whole thing 360 soft. So we're gonna cover it with a wet towel. I prefer a wet towel to help seal it even more. Put it in a warm spot in the kitchen for 6 hours. Press pause, and I'll see you in 6. All right, guys, let's take a look at our dough that has been proofing and rising for 6 hours. Look at that, doubled in size. We got that nice protective barrier of the oil around it. There's nothing crusty on top. It is ready to be punched down. So what we're gonna do now is preheat our oven right now, 450, and punch down the dough. And when we come back in 15 minutes, we're gonna build a pizza. So 1, 2, pause. Hey guys, welcome back. That was a tremendous 15 minutes I just spent with myself reflecting on how my day's going so far. And guess what? It's going great because our dough post-punching has had a chance to kind of just bubble up just a little bit. Now it's nice and flat and ready to be built into a true Chicago-style deep dish pizza. First, we need that butter crust, right? I always say yes to butter crust. Just gives it an extra crispy, buttery crunchiness that you can't live without. So we are going to melt a tablespoon of butter. Always put the butter in the cold pan. I don't like putting butter into a hot pan. You just lose so much of it to the atmosphere, and it browns really quickly. And this way, we just melt it gently, and it'll happen very quickly. So we have our dough ready to go. I got my mise en place all set here for when it's pizza building time. You don't want to have to scramble for ingredients. You want everything to be built quick and put in the oven, right? Oven's at 450. Tomatoes are ready, whole tomatoes. I got my sausage here, bulk hot Italian sausage or sweet Italian sausage, in slices from the deli of a whole milk or a part skim, low moisture mozzarella. I like the low moisture stuff because it's less moisture, more of that good cheese pull and chewiness to it. And of course, you can't do this without a proper deep dish pizza pan. Now, this was ordered online. You can get them on various sites. Order a true Chicago deep dish pizza pan, or you can use your cake pans, okay? Our butter is melting, right? Just like that. It happens so quick. Doesn't really need much more. We just want a light melt so it's easier to spread, and we're gonna create that butter crust, right? So butter goes in first. 1 tablespoon. Move it all around so it gets up the rims and the edges. Not too much. If you put too much oil or butter in here, it's just gonna be hard to form the dough, and it's gonna be too slick and that dough's gonna pull away. But you can see as we start building, it's gonna kind of start hardening up a little bit. Next comes that dough. Right, I do it the dry side down, right into that pan. Now we can start forming it, right? I'm looking at the size of this pan. It needs a little dough removed that we will turn into garlic knots. So I'm removing about 1/4 of the dough, anywhere up to, half the dough, depending on your sized pan here. But this feels right to me just by touching the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna get started, right? And this is kind of the Chicago way here, right? Once you have that perfect even base, right? I could feel it with my hands. I could feel it's even. There's no huge clumps of dough anywhere in there. Now let's start making that rim, right? That magical crust we love. Just by going around and pressing it fairly tight with your fingers and your knuckles there to create this kind of 90-degree ledge, right? Just like that. So we are going up, just going around the horn like this, Making sure, right, it's not sloping, but a definite 90-degree angle right where that bottom meets the rim here. And it's going all the way up. I want it as high as you can get it, right? Pressing it the whole time. You don't want it to rise and push everything up. You want this fairly flat. So any bubbles you see, any pockets of air, you want to puncture. All right, this is looking good. All right, next comes the cheese, the meats, and then we'll get to the sauce last. Starting with the cheese goes on first. What? What are you doing, Jeff? We don't do that here in New York City. We put the cheese on top with very, very thin slices of sausage. That's not what we do in Chicago. We give you the good stuff. So we are literally putting a duvet cover of cheese on the bottom here. That's why we're using the slices and not the minuscule little pre-packaged, pre-grated stuff. Do it right and get that full 360 cheese blanket going, because there is no shortage of cheese in a true Chicago deep dish. So look at that. It's a pinwheel with one in the middle. And that's perfect, right? And maybe I'll throw a couple there, and then 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 there. This is awesome. So on here you can see is about 12 ounces of part skim, low moisture mozzarella. Great. Now comes the toppings. In the Mauro family house, right, growing up, and to this day, we are divided. Half the camp is in pepperoni camp. The other half of the camp is in sausage camp. Never the two shall meet, okay? Luckily, pizza is the most democratic food item on the planet because you could feed up to 4 people or 2 very large hungry Mauros with one of these and everybody gets what they want. I'm a pepperoni guy, but I like one slice of sausage once in a while. My dad, my mom, my brother will never touch pepperoni. They only demand sausage. Okay? So instead of, breaking up the family, going our separate ways with decades of turmoil and strife and therapy bills, half sausage, half pepperoni. Well, let's do the pepperoni first since it's my favorite. I'm talking the classic pepperoni. This is not a place for those, thick cut pepperoni cups from the stick, right? I love them on top of Detroit's, pan pizzas, grandma-style pizzas, but for this, you want them thinner, a little bigger, and we're doing a full layer, half right down the line. This is the pizza DMZ right here, okay? This is gonna be that brackish water that makes the people who like both things happy, but just give you, like a little punch in the gut for those pepperoni people because they're gonna get a little sausage on their first bite. So it's gonna be like, put everybody in their place. This is just food. It's just pizza. It's not that serious. Okay? We are just putting a good amount of roni on there. Pepperoni. Next comes the sausage. Now, on this style of pizza, whether you're going to Malnati's, Uno Dues, Pequod's, Paisanos, Salerno's, any of these places with vowels on the end of their name that serve pizza, it'd be one whole thin sheet of sausage on there. So there's no sausage nuggets. It's literally a sheet of sausage. So get some good Italian sausage, bulk. You could take it out of the casing if you can't find it bulk. This just makes your job a lot easier. So not too thick, right? A nice thin, using our hands again, right? Thin layer of that sausage. Beautiful, we're pressing this down. Okay, do you see what we're doing here, guys? Thin, pressed down layer of sausage. Now let's keep this clean by wearing gloves. Avoid the hand wash. Obviously, take your gloves off when you're done. Discard them. Now we can get to the sauce. Very excited about this because this is, I'm gonna grab some more gloves here because I'm a little sensitive once in a while to tomato juice, believe it or not. So I am gonna hand crush a whole can of whole San Marzano tomatoes. There's no pizza sauce on this, right? It's not seasoned with garlic, with dried Italian seasoning, with oregano, salt, nothing. It's just the pure best canned tomato in the world, crushed by hand, put directly on top of that. You do want some chunkiness to it. Just gives it some character, if you will. That's why we're using our hand here. Look at this. This is so nice. All right, I'm feeling good about this. Now I like to kind of use my fingers, almost like a strainer or a sieve, because again, you don't want too much of that liquid in there. You just want like that, the meat of that tomato, right? And it's going right on, right, with our hands. So you can take a good amount. Now, depending on what kind of canned tomatoes you're using, they could be a little more liquidy. So you want to keep an eye on this, right? Get it to the rim like that. Get that. Full 360 San Marzano goodness. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. All that dough is hitting on the bottom is pure heat and metal. So you're gonna get that bottom buttery, crackery crust. It's very well balanced. It's ready to go. One more thing to add to this, just a quick little dusting of Parm. I think Pecorino Romano is a little strong for this, so this is when you get the good grated Parmigiano Reggiano on top. In the oven, we are gonna bake this 25 minutes at 450 until it is golden brown. Aim for the lower rack opposed to the higher rack, but keep an eye on it. You may need to rotate it. Into the oven, it shall go. Press pause, and I'll see you in a couple. All right, guys, welcome back. Well, it smells like a legitimate pizzeria in here. My favorite smell on the planet. It's time for this baby to get taken out of that oven. This is it. We did it. All right, it's best to be patient right now and let this rest for 5 minutes to let everything set up. So press pause, and I'll see you in 5. All right, the pizza has rested. It's hot, but it's not too hot to handle right now. We took it out of the pan, which makes it easier to cut, especially when you got a lot of hungry people around you. Just get a nice, sharp chef's knife here. And we got, remember, the half sausage, half pepperoni. Where the first cut lands, nobody knows. Let's get in there. Ooh. Oh. All right, let's get our plate ready. I usually wear a pizza bib, but I left it at home, so a napkin will do. Let's see what we got. I'm hoping for pepperoni. Yes, pepperoni. No sausage remnants on there whatsoever. But you could see the layers already, how thin that bottom layer is, how many, like tight air pockets, the shelf of this crust where it meets the bottom crust, right? And this is all like a snack right here. This is like the appetizer. I eat a lot of times slices of deep dish backwards. It's crazy, I know. But now, since we are civilized, we are gonna knife and fork this. I've worked on this. I've become one with this recipe, and I taste it in every bite. It's so familiar. In those fresh tomatoes, that just salty, spicy pepperoni on there, that beautiful layer of cheese, the right amount of saltiness and chew. Let's try that crust. Oh, sweetness from the corn. The fact that we only needed it for a minimal amount of time because of this light, airy biscuit quality. So this here is an authentic, real deal, deep dish Chicago-style pizza, folks. I'm making my gourmet mac and cheese. Gourmet. So we got some new kind of high-ender cheeses. Okay. And starting with one of my favorite ingredients. Obviously, mac and cheese and bacon go hand in hand.
They do.
But I'm using pancetta, which is a non-smoked but still cured, salty, peppery pork belly product. That's really great, especially diced. And we rendered out all that fat here in a nice large brazier, because we're going to use this to actually plate our mac and cheese in a little bit.
As Trisha Yearwood would say, is that pancetta?
Pancetta, it is not.
Pancetta.
It's pancetta, but you can call it.
I say pancetta, man. What are you talking about?
Pancetta. All right, so we're gonna take this out. We're gonna reserve a tablespoon of that beautiful render fat in there to help. That looks like a tablespoon. I'm not even gonna take any more out of that. And to even make it more decadent, we are gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter and make a roux here.
What? Just excuse.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. I know there's nothing too fancy about butter, but I think mac and cheese needs butter in there.
It does, it does.
So beautiful. And then we're gonna add flour and whisk this until it's nice and kind of blonde. I think not too dark with your roux for your mac and cheese, because we're making a white sauce here. Sonny, while I'm doing this, can you grate some cheese for me? I have some blue cheese, which adds a nice funk to it. We have some Gruyere and some Havarti. And this is grated Fontina.
Wow, fancy.
So you got
pants.
creamy, you got funky, you got melty, and you got like aged and nutty. So it's like a beautiful combination of flavors. All right, once we kind of get this to the color we need, we're gonna add a couple more ingredients in here. Just a couple cloves of garlic grated on a rasp, and some Dijon mustard to give it some zip. And then we'll whisk that in, make sure that garlic cooks just ever so slightly. Perfect, I smell it. Then we got some whole milk. Not the 2%, the whole, Jeffrey.
Yeah, what's the point of,
What's the point? I mean, we've got 4 cups of cheese. All right, so we're gonna bring this to a simmer, and then we're gonna add all our cheese. Little hot sauce in here, right?
Oh.
It's a lot. It's not a lot. Look at beautiful, gives it a nice little thing. We're gonna bring this to a simmer, right? It's gonna thicken up like all of our great sauces do. Now we can add the mac and cheese in our warm bechamel right here.
Yeah,
so we got our, remember, we got our a little bit of blue cheese, some grated Fontina, great silky, really easily melty cheese, some Gruyere, which is that nuttiness, and Havarti, which again is nicely aged. Beautiful flavor.
That's
all white.
I like your cheese to sauce ratio.
Well, hey, you know.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna complain.
Extra cheese, please.
Every little bit. Sonny, you did so much work writing that cheese.
Thank
I don't
you.
want to leave any soldiers left behind here.
Go,
Please
gadget
take it.
elbow.
Now we can start just kind of folding this in till it melts. There's no need to cook this any further. This just needs to heat up until you see it starting to string and everything. And that's when you want to start seasoning too, because remember, if you season before you add the cheese, you don't know how salty your cheese is going to be once it melts in there, and it could be very salty. So look at this, beautiful. We got some heat going. Okay, here we go. So now we got a big bowl of slightly undercooked, super al dente cavatappi pasta.
Right.
You can use any macaroni you want for this. I just love this. It looks fun. It catches a lot of that sauce. It's very resilient pasta, so when we do bake it in a minute, it's not gonna overcook in the oven.
Dare I
but
say.
look at that.
Cavatappi in the building.
Cavatappi in the building, baby. Look at that. All of that's going in. All of it. Get every inch of that in there.
Scallions. That looks crazy.
Beautiful. So now we're gonna mix this up and put it back into our brazier here, all right?
okay,
You can
there's
use a
more.
9x14, you can use whatever you got, but I like to just kind of kiss this in a little. It doesn't need too much heat in there. We just want all that cheese to melt and kind of homogeneously marry each other. And then we can top it with just that pancetta, which is crispy, but still a little under like super crispy. It'll finish up in the oven. You know what I'm gonna do, actually?
Get it.
While it's in there, a little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt, too. Season it a little more. You know, I see you salivating over there. It's kind of embarrassing, but my goal in life is to impress you with the normal stuff, Jeffrey.
I
So
like that
hope
you use
like
a beautiful, gorgeous bowl to mix it before you.
I thought
That's
that
very
was a serving
impressive.
bowl.
Yeah.
I know you didn't think it was gonna fit in here. We're gonna
fits.
smooth it out. And then we are gonna top it with that pancetta, which we just kind of let drain. And all of it. All of it. All of it. This is gonna give us a little more fat, a little more decadence, and of course, texture, which I think mac and cheese needs. Especially if I'm not like baking an entire half-inch crust of cheese on the top. So it's going in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes, right? Just so it all comes together and that pancetta crisps up even more. I got one ready to go right here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You dropped it.
Look at that pancetta.
A little minced chives for some extra color. Little
get some
pop
vegetables.
A little vegetable. You gotta eat your greens.
Eat your greens.
You gotta eat your greens. Now we can serve it up here. All right. Sonny, you will do the
beautiful.
honors, but let's see
Sonny's
what we're
will.
looking like.
Yeah.
Ooh. Slow-mo.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it
Slow-mo
a
Joe.
spoon or is it a fork? This is
I don't know. I would say just
Spoon.
use your hands, man.
It's gotta be, it can't be too wet. mac cheese. I don't like wet mac cheese.
No, and I don't like dry mac and
don't?
cheese.
No, it's a balance there, right? You gotta be very...
I like it soupy sometimes, you know, and then sometimes I just want it like
Really,
a,
I just
you
won't
want to
say no
slice
to
into
any
it
of
like
it.
a
Yeah.
well-rested lasagna, but this is a nice middle ground of like a wet and a really nice, tight, if you will, and cheesy mac and
Oh,
cheese.
man alive. Look at that.
It's so nice because the blue cheese doesn't smack you in the face the way that you think it would. It just comes through with that thing that blue cheese does. It's got that kind of like tinny, bitter, you know, thing that's happening in here that goes so well with the creamy cheese sauce that would be excellent as a fondue cheese. And then you get those little crispy nuggets of salty, piggy goodness over the top. Here, oh, that's funny? Okay.